It's time for Dodger Baseball. From Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the Washington Nationals. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you. We'll set the stage here at Dodger Stadium for tonight's final game with Washington and for the homestand. First of all, Washington has lost 4 in a row. They're 4.5 games in front, however, of the New York Mets. The Dodgers doing everything well for the moment. They've won 5 straight, 7 of the last 8, 13 of the last 16. They're still 5.5 games behind the Giants. The Dodgers will go to Pittsburgh for a 4-game series and Milwaukee for 3. The Giants are in Pittsburgh tonight and tomorrow afternoon. They will come home and play Philadelphia and Oakland. The pitching for tonight, Joe Ross, Tyson Ross' younger brother, a record of 6-4, lost to the Dodgers last year in a 5-0 ball game. Julio Urias will be on the mound for the Dodgers, a record of 0-2. He's had a couple of gems, however, 5 1/3 innings against the Giants and lost 2-1. 5 innings against Milwaukee, did not allow a run. Dodgers won that game 3-2. Dodgers hit the road. They go into Pittsburgh. They lost all 3 there last year, and Milwaukee, they split 4. So, good ball game coming up. Pull up a chair. We'll get you to the ball game and a whole lot more right after this. Welcome to Dodger Baseball at Dodger Stadium with the division-leading Washington Nationals. A pregame moment on Dusty Baker bobblehead night. Two former Dodger champions, Tommy Davis, a three-time All-Star, a two-time batting champion, and a World Series champion. And, of course, Dusty Baker was here from 76 to 83. He was a two-time All-Star, an MVP in the championship series with the Phillies. And as he walks off here, we'll always remember he was on 3 World Series teams, one of which beat the Yankees in 1981. So with all of that behind us, the rare number 7 worn by a pitcher, and it's Julio Urias. Urias has pitched a couple of very good games. Meanwhile, the Dodger bullpen has not only been working hard, been working very well. We'll take a look at the visiting Washington lineup. Michael Taylor in center field. Jason Worth, former Dodger, in left field. Bryce Harper, the MVP from last year, in right field. Daniel Murphy at second base. Wilson Ramos is the catcher. Ryan Zimmerman at first. Anthony Rendon at third. Danny Espinosa at short. And Joe Ross, Tyson Ross's younger brother, on the mound. The big question for the Dodgers, what are they going to do with Urias? He has so far worked 63 innings. That includes minor leagues and major league. Well, if you go back 2 years, and he was younger than he is tonight, of course, he had 87 innings back in 2014 in A-ball. So the Dodgers now, at one time, you figured he'd pitch tonight and go back to the minors. But again, Dave Roberts kind of hedged and said it looks like he'll have another start. So we'll just have to wait and see. Michael Taylor, Michael Anthony Taylor, who likes to be called Michael A. Taylor, checking in. Urias into the windup, and here we go. Slow breaking ball right out of the Clayton Kershaw playbook. Taylor, Florida boy, graduated right out of high school, has hit safely in 18 straight. Fastball, a little low, 1-1. Beautiful evening, 75 degrees. Interesting to see what Urias does tonight as far as strikeouts to walks. 1-1 fastball, jammed in, fouled away, 1-2. In his last 3 starts, he struck out 7 and walked 1. The next start, he struck out 7 and walked 1. His last start, he walked 1 and struck out 8. And start him off tonight with a strikeout and 1 away in the first inning. Take a look now at the Dodgers with the leather, and you have Gonzalez and Utley, Seager and Turner, Thompson, Peterson, and Puig, Grandal behind the plate, and Urias on the mound. Well, every now and then, all you have to do is look back at the players to realize how time has really flown. And I thought about it tonight. I broadcast when Jason Worth's grandfather played here. First pitch in, first strike. I broadcast when his uncle played here. Dick Schofield, who was called Ducky, his grandfather, was playing here in '66, and Junior played here in '95. 0-2 the count to Jason. 1 out, first inning. The Nationals, a fine ball club, stumbled twice in San Diego and then came up here and lost 2 in a row. Strike 2 pitch, fastball up, 1-2. Bryce Harper, the MVP, waiting on deck with the pitching coach, and then Max Scherzer, Chris Heisey looking on. Breaking ball just missed. I think Jason Worth, looking at the plate umpire, Jeff Nelson, said say that was awfully close, wasn't it? 2-2. Fastball foul back at 93. Jason Worth was a terrific teammate on the Dodgers. Was also a hard luck player. He was playing so well, and we were in Colorado, and he crashed into the left field wall and wrecked his shoulder. That did him for that year. He only played 89 games. The next pitch, a slow curve, just missing. Urias matching his uniform number. That thing came up there at 77. But even though Grandal is trying to frame and make a ball look like a strike, Jeff Nelson will not go for it. Another curveball for ball 4. All right, that's the one walk that he allowed in each of his last 3 games.
Right fielder number 34, Bryce Harper.
Now Bryce Harper coming up. As you can see, the growth of Julius Urias, 9.3 his first 2, 1 point odd ever since. And Harper making himself at home. Bryce Harper, big Dodger fans as a little boy living over in Las Vegas. He still makes his home over there. Harper, with all of his tremendous abilities, is only 24 years old. Hit a home run last night. He's a home run hitter, but he went 14 consecutive games without a home run before hitting one last night. And of late, he's starting to perk up. Last 6 games, 8 for 24, 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Worth at first, fouled away. 0-2 the count. I always tell the story about Harper because really it talks about the boy himself. He was in a real travel game, kind of a World Series, and he hit 12 home runs. And they were little guys, 11 and 12. The fences were 250 feet away. And he called home, and his mom said, "How did you do?" And he said, "I did okay." Period. Not I hit 12 home runs or I knocked in 1,000 runs. Nope. I did okay. So Harper waiting. No balls and 2 strikes. Tell you the nice tip about Bryce Harper's ability was from Al Kaline, and down he goes on the breaking ball. 3 years ago, Hall of Famer Al Kaline said that he is fascinated by the way Harper plays the game. Well, the fascination has rubbed off a bit in this series. So 2 strikeouts for Urias, and the batter now Daniel Murphy. So for Urias, and remember, he's 19 years old. He has now 31 strikeouts. The most by a 19-year-old wearing a Dodger uniform, Ralph Branca. Don Drysdale had 55. And a fellow who scouts and is here tonight, Joe Moeller, he had 46. Urias to first, Worth diving back to the bag. He's 1 for 1 in stolen bases. So Daniel Murphy, who is having a fine time. Murphy hitting .352. Urias out of his stretch. Here we go. Slow, a change up a little high. Ball 1. 1-0. Murphy 0 for 3 last night. He has 12 home runs, 46 RBIs. Jason Worth off the bag. He has one of those daddy long leg strikes if he's running. 2 balls and no strikes. Urias struggling a little bit, but he has struck out 2 and walked 1. Daniel Murphy, the league championship MVP last year, signed a 3-year deal to go from the Mets to Washington. 2-0 pitch on the way. Ball 3. Interesting, a player goes from New York to Washington, and I asked Dan, "How do you like Washington?" He said, "We have a yard." So you can assume while he was in New York, he was in an apartment. Now, a nice backyard for the family. 3-0. They let him swing 3-0. Had that feeling with a dozen in the way he's playing. One of the things that's bothering the Nets, and it happens to every ball club, the Nets are struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. Lose again, 5 in a row would be a season high, but they've only scored 9 runs in the last 4 games. 3-1. Slow curveball in for a strike. Dodgers have had a happy habit, of beating the Nationals here at Dodger Stadium. You go back to 2006, the Dodgers have won 24 of 31 here against the Nationals. Runner goes, pitch is hit in the air to center. Going back a little bit is Peterson, but it's a cinch. And the inning is over. 2 strikeouts, a walk, and a long fly ball. And at the end of half an inning, no score, and Joe Ross going to work. Fails to score. They leave a runner at first. We can take a look now at Dave Roberts' lineup, and it goes as follows. Chase Utley at second, Corey Seager at short, Justin Turner at third, Adrian Gonzalez at first. Trace Thompson in left, Jock Peterson in center, Yasmani Grandal behind the plate, Yasiel Puig in right, and Julio Urias on the mound. On the mound for the Washington Nationals, at one time he was always called Tyson's younger brother. We're talking about Joseph Andrew Ross. We haven't heard about his brother since opening day. Tyson went against the Dodgers, gave up 7 earned runs and 9 hits, and has disappeared. He's been on the DL ever since with a shoulder problem. So we'll see about Joe. 6'4", 205-pounder, 23 years old, but an old soul in a young body. And leading off, Chase Utley, who fouls it away. Utley doing a great job, hitting .261, still looking for his 1,000th career run. 5 home runs, 25 runs batted in. 0-1. Ground ball up the middle. There's nobody there to handle it, and it goes into center field. So you take it as you can get it. Some people moaning about loading up one side, and the other accepts the challenge, and here it is. And talking about here it is, here he is, the rookies who have led the team in average home runs and RBIs since way back in 1969. And look at Seager. He is up there with some great names. Jose Abreu, Albert Pujols, Mike Piazza, Mark McGwire, and going way back, Greg Bluzinski. So Corey doing everything well and fielding his position remarkably well. Pitch to Corey is low, ball 1, 1-0. So the Dodgers have Utley at first, nobody out, bottom of the first inning. Joe Ross, Tyson's kid brother, not as big as Tyson, but he's 6'4", that'll do. That's off the plate. 2-0. Seager with a modest 6-game hitting streak, and over that stretch, .360. 4 doubles. Seager had 2 doubles in 2 innings in game 1 of the series. Shot up the middle, and that's going to find a way in the center. Utley will hold on at second. The back-to-back singles by Utley and Seager, both of them up the middle. And now the Dodgers in business for Turner, Gonzalez, and Thompson. One of the problems that Joe Ross's mom had as Turner comes up, I mean, she's got 2 sons who are big league pitchers. So she had a dual purpose jersey. It was a Christmas gift from her sister. One side of it is a red Nationals alternate on the right half with a curly W and a number 41. The left half, a blue Padre alternative, interlocking SD logo on the front and a number 38 on the back. So Mom found a way to wear her heart both sides. And ball 1 it is to Justin Turner. A revised and revitalized Turner, hitting now .248, but for the last little more than 2 weeks, hitting .328, which is much more his style. 10 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Two on, nobody out. First inning, no score. 75 degrees at the start of the game, and fastball strike 0-1. Well, the Giants had an amazing series in Pittsburgh. First of all, they lost 1-0 on a 36-year-old Eric Kratz, I believe his name was, who hit the home run and beat the Giants 1-0, snapping their 8-game losing streak. That's foul back, 1-2. Then last night, the Giants came alive, shut out the night before. They not only scored 15 runs, but it was a mop-up game for Pittsburgh. So who do you think pitched an inning in relief last night? Yeah, the same man who beat them with the home run the night before, Mr. Kravitz. Well, tonight, the Giants were trailing 6-1. It's now in the bottom of the 9th, and the Giants are leading the Pirates 7-6. 1-2 to Kerner. In the dirt. Dodgers playing so well at home that they are now 7 games above 500 at home, break even on the road. They have 4 games in Pittsburgh. Last year they had 3, and they lost all 3. They have 4 games in Milwaukee, and they last year split the 4. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt, short hop nicely. Wilson Ramos has become an outstanding catcher. He had LASIK surgery. The one thing having trouble before was doing just that, coming up with those bouncing pitches. And of course, to mention the fact also that he's hitting .332. So Turner up there, 2 on, nobody out, no score, first inning. We'll get you that final Giant score when we get it. 3-2, runners hold, and there's a line drive to center, but coming back to grab it is Michael Taylor, tagging up at second, hustling his way to third, and he's in there. Chase Utley. So Turner, a line drive out to Michael Taylor. Utley went back and tagged and was able to meet a good throw. It was right on the money, but he got in there ahead of it. So now first and third with 1 out. Utley, as always, just doing the right thing every time you look up. Here's Gonzalez. .272, but during this homestand, batting over 300 with a couple of doubles. First and third, 1 out, no score. And in the dirt to the backstop, the runners move up, Utley will score. Down to second goes Seager, and the Dodgers are on the board, 1-0. For Ross, he did not have a wild pitch until just now. The thing about Ross, he has a very good sinker and gets a lot of double plays. He's had 9, and he's been tough on right-hand batters. But he bumped into Utley and Seager. They touched him. And then the right-hand batter, Turner, hit that hard out to center. And there it is. Utley tagging, going to third, comes home on the wild pitch. The 1,000th run in his career. It takes a great year and a great ball player year after year after year. He's saying, what? And they're saying they want to salute you. Take a quick bow. So the Dodgers lead 1-0. Gonzalez now with a runner at second. Ball 2. I don't know. Is scoring your 1,000th run on a wild pitch like a walk-off walk to end a game? But he's there with it. 1,000. High fly ball down the left field line, slicing in the corner and going foul. Doug Eddings right on the left field foul line to have an easy call. Ross has some troubles in the first inning. He came in the first inning with an ERA of almost 2.8. Then it drops to 2. Then it drops to less than 1 in the third inning. Big swing and a miss. 2-2. But then come the 6th inning, and the sky has fallen in on him. His ERA in the 6th inning during the year, 9.5. So Adrian with a 2-2 count, trying to pick up Seager at second base. And that's hit in the air to right field. Playable. Harper with a good arm. And tagging up is Seager, and the throw will not be in time. So the Dodgers advance 2 runners on 2 fly balls, get a run on a wild pitch. And with 2 out, the batter is Trace Thompson. Trace Thompson in left field. Klay Thompson sitting quietly, wearing a Dodger cap. Golden State Warriors great guard. Had one of the big reasons to get them into the finals. Disappointed, I'm sure, now watching his brother. He wore a Dodger cap up at AT&T Park, and they booed his ears off. Ball 1 to Trace. One run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Some good base running. Nothing for the Nationals. And Joe Ross, struggling, is behind again, 2-0. He's been pitching very well on the road. 2.8 ERA and a 4-2 win and loss record. And in the first 50 pitches, he's only made 18. This year, the hitters are batting 194. And that's off the plate. So waiting on deck, Jock Peterson. So as Peterson waits, we've had 3 fly balls to center, 2 were ground balls for singles, and a fly ball and a wild pitch got the Dodgers a run. Now they're trying to get Seager home. In there, 3-1. Dodgers trying to win their 6th in a row and trying to give the Nationals their 5th straight loss. 3-1 the count. Fastball, line drive right at Daniel Murphy, and that's that. So the Dodgers would have scored the run anyway as the inning played out, but Utley brought it in on a wild pitch, 1,000th run of his career, and young Urias going out leading 1-0. Baker bobblehead night. Dusty, one of the truly nice guys to ever wear a Dodger uniform. We'll try and sneak in a little story I'm sure you haven't heard about Johnny Lee, the pride, the rage of Riverside. Played with the Dodgers a long time. The batter is Wilson Ramos, then Ryan Zimmerman, and Anthony Rendon. As a little boy growing up in Riverside, he was a rabid Dodger fan, was Dusty, and listening every night, sneaking the transistor radio. Ground ball to third. Nice easy play for Turner, and just like that, one away. Anyway, one night, his mom took Dusty to the opera. He was about 5 years old, and he sat quietly like a good young child with his mom, listening to the opera, she thought. And all of a sudden, his mom turned and looked over at him, leaned her ear closer. He had a transistor radio tucked under his shirt, the earpiece running up into the ear, and there he was looking at the opera and listening to a Dodger game. That's Dusty. One away, Ryan Zimmerman checking in. Hitting .226, 1 for 8. It was a double, but he does have 10 home runs. Fastball strike, 1-1. Julio struck out 2 in the first inning, walked the batter, but got out of the inning, and he's leading 1-0. 2-1. So again, in watching his innings, 63 in the minors plus what he's done so far this year. In A ball, he went 87 innings. His control is not quite what it was. Usually most pitchers have to work their way into it. So he's behind 3-1, and he's already walked 1. Off speed breaking ball, 3-2. Well, now as a hitter, you've got to be thinking, he gave me that slow curveball. Most kids are going to throw a fastball 3-2. So let's see. Fastball hit to the gap in right center, trouble, And a diving try by Puig. He comes up empty. It's backed up by Peterson. So Zimmerman gets a fly ball single to right center.
Third baseman number 6, Anthony Rendon.
So a single for Ryan Zimmerman, and he did get that 3-2 fastball. Puig that close, but no cigar. And the batter, Anthony Rendon. Zimmerman, big man, doesn't run very well, but he does have a stolen base. Rendon, 66 base hits. He would be third on the team. Daniel Murphy is 93 and Ramos 69. That's a strike. Starts him fastball. Rendon has certainly been a very solid ball player with Washington. Good third baseman as well. 0-1. Breaking ball. It's probably a slider right at the end of it. 1 ball and 1 strike to Anthony Rendon out of Richmond, Texas. He was going to school at Rice University when the Nationals signed him. Fouls that breaking ball back. He was a first-round pick back in 2011, and he was really a rare college player. He was the Baseball America's College Player of the Year as an underclassman. In the then 30-year history of the award, it only happened 3 times. Robin Ventura, John Olerud, Mark Teixeira, and now Anthony. In the dirt, gets away from Grandal, and down to second base goes Zimmerman. So the Dodger run came on a wild pitch. Utley brought it in. Zimmerman now at second. I was going to say Rendon trying to pick him up, but to pick up Ryan Zimmerman is a bit of an effort. He is a big man. Zimmerman 6'3" and at least 230. Backing off the bag at second. 2-2 the count to Rendon. Fastball, and that's low. Rendon going out to talk to him. 3-2 the count. Interesting to watch Bob Henley, the third base coach. But Henley keeps his eye on the runner Zimmerman, and then Henley will extend his arms as if to say, okay, you can take this much more of a lead. Meanwhile, Seager and Utley are hanging around. Yeah, there's Bob trying to help Zimmerman along. So Seager and Utley had a couple of words. Now they go back to their positions. 1 out, second inning, 1-0 Dodgers. 3-2 to Anthony Rendon. And a chopper to Utley. Advancing to third is Zimmerman. And 2 out. Danny Espinosa coming up.
Shortstop number 8, Danny Espinosa.
Well, we just got the report out of Pittsburgh. The Giants have done it again. They were down 6-1. Came back to beat the Pirates 7-6. Joe Panik hit a 2-run double for the lead. So Panik rescues again. One nothing Dodgers. 2 down, runner at third, tying run 90 feet away. We'll see if they'll pitch to Espinosa. Ball 1, and that gets away from Grandal. So there's trouble in River City right now. The Arias and Grandal. And all the while Zimmerman, the tying run, looking for a break. Urias making the wild pitch in the second inning. It is his second wild pitch this year. One nothing Dodgers. Second inning, 2 out. Fastball foul back. 1-1. In that giant Pirate game, the Pirates had a runner on base representing the tying run. He ran, the hitter struck out, Posey nailed the runner at second base, and the Giants won it 7-6. They have another game tomorrow afternoon with Pittsburgh. Little roller foul, 1-2. So Urias taking plenty of time. There's some misconnection, at least for the moment, with Urias and his catcher. Grandal's been out to the mound once to talk to him. He's also made 16 pitches. That gives him 36. 1-2. Fastball whacked to left field. Back for it goes Thompson at the scoreboard, and it hits the top of the wall and goes in the seats. We're assuming it's a home run, but maybe it's only a double. The ball is loosened as it comes back to the infield. We'll take a look at that play again. Thompson's okay, but he's certainly given a best shot. We're looking to see how it's going to rule, if there's going to be a review. Up goes Trace. The ball hits the top and comes back. So the ball's in play. They're going to review it. At first glimpse, it happened so fast, it looked like it might have gone over and kicked back, but it didn't. It landed on top of the wall. So they pitched to Espinosa. He doubled off the wall to drive in Zimmerman, and we have a 1-1 tie.
Play is under review.
So the play is going to be under review, but you saw it as well as anyone in the ballpark. Landed right on the angled top of the wall and came back. Zimmerman for sure is in the dugout. It's a question for Espinosa whether it's a double or a home run, and we certainly assume it's a double. Right over the glove, hitting the fence right there. That's pretty obvious. And then it comes back. Thompson, meanwhile, goes down in a heap. So in a moment, they'll call it a double. The run will be in, and Joe Ross will be coming up to hit. Yeah, it's a double. Thank goodness, however, for the cameras. First of all, for us, we were able to spot it right away. So 1-1 tie, second inning. Urias just doesn't have the look that he's had in his last 3 games. Not the dominant or commanding look, but it's early in the game. Joe Ross is a pretty good hitcher. He's batting .214, half a dozen hits, including a double. He has struck out about a third of the time, so as a pitcher, pretty good hitter. Joe was supposed to go to UCLA, so was his brother, but they had other commitments. Fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Ross and his brother Tyson live together, so they are very close. They work out at the same gym, and Joe says his older brother has taught him an awful lot. How to pitch, how to stay in shape. 1 ball and 1 strike. No pitch. So Espinosa, who drives in the run, taking his lead. 2 out, second inning. 1-1 tie. Breaking ball at the hitter's feet. 2-1. So again, for one reason or 10, Urias struggling a little bit. Despite the 2 strikeouts in the first inning, he didn't quite look like himself. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball hit down the right field line. Puig is not going to get it. Going to bounce against the box seat railing. Ross, as we said, good hitter, has a double. And Espinosa scores, and Washington leads 2-1. Well, I've always used him as an example. The great Warren Spahn. We asked Warren many years ago, what's the percentage of the time you go to the mound with all your good stuff? He thought a moment and he said, 75% of the time. So the other 30, it's a struggle. And here, Urias has given up 2 doubles and a single, and it's 2-1 Washington. Now you get Michael Taylor, who struck out in the first inning. Taylor does have a little sock. 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. Ben Revere played last night, but Revere is really struggling, hitting only .206. So again, Grandal out to the mound to talk to Urias. They are just not on the same page. All right, Yasmani about ready to shuffle the cards. Taylor with Jason Worth on deck. Nice easy fastball at the knees. 1-1. Washington very high on young Michael Taylor. Got a lot of speed. He has stolen 10 out of 13. One and two. I think Taylor thought he should have handled that instead of just fouling it out. Waiting on deck, the veteran Jason Worth. Michael had a 2-run home run in his major league debut in August of 2014. Utley trying to bird dog Ross a little bit at second. 1-2. High fastball to put him away. Though a bad at bat for Michael Taylor. 3 strikeouts for Urias. However, thanks to the double by Ross, the tie is broken, and we go to the bottom of the second. 2-1 Washington. LA is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Jack in the Box. It's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C., where the Washington Senators played from 1911 to 1965. In 1911, William Howard Taft began the tradition of presidents throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to start the season. Demolished, it's now Howard University Hospital on the site. Ball one to Jock Peterson. Couple of footnotes. Number one, Urias, who made 20 pitches in the first inning, made 25 in the second. That's a strike. We told you the Giants came from behind and beat Pittsburgh. The Dodgers are going to Pittsburgh, and the Pirates have lost 19 of the last 25. Ball two. Peterson blazing hot in the last 4 games. 429, 6 for 14. Fastball bunted foul. 2-2. Peterson, Grandal, and Puig in that order. Beautiful evening. Final game of the series and of the homestand. 4 with Milwaukee and 3 with Washington. 2-2. Three and two. Grandal, who's had a heck of a time handling Urias, now has a chance to swing the bat. 3-2 to Peterson. Big breaking ball for strike 3. Jock thought it was high and out of the strike zone.
Catcher,
he
number
mutters
9.
about it was a ball and keeps on going. Jeff Nelson is the plate umpire. Then you have Nick Lenz, Corey Blazer, Dave Eddings. Nelson has been umpiring for 19 years in the big leagues. He's done World Series, a couple of All-Star games. Peterson does not care about his credits. One away, and here's Grandal. Grandal hit that big pitch last night down around the knees. He was looking for a ball to hit in the air, and he hit it out. Off speed for a strike. 1-1. 2-1 in favor of Washington. It's early. Bottom of the second. And a high fly ball going foul, and will wind up back in the stands. It's certainly worth a second look. Down 2-0. Dodgers had 2 on, and Grandal cleared the center field wall. That was quite an inning. Peterson walked. Puig hit a line drive, a leaping catch by Espinosa, but the ball went off the fingertips of his glove. That allowed Grandal to come up, and boom, they win the game. 1-2. Another pop-up, however, and this playable. Rendon in foul ground. And we have 2 out in the second inning.
Right fielder, number 66, Yasiel Puig.
Yasiel Puig coming up. He was 1 for 3 last night. And as we said, that one hit could easily have changed the game. It went off the glove of Espinosa. If Espinosa holds on to it, the Dodgers do not come up with 3. Yasiel frustrated, diving at a ball hit by Zimmerman in the second inning. Couldn't make the play, and Zimmerman scored. And then Ross doubled home Espinosa, and Washington has the lead. 1 ball and no strikes, fouled away. Tonight is Dusty Baker bobblehead night. And we were talking to Dusty before the game. And he was so very proud. Now, basically, he's a humble man. But like any father, proud of his son. Fastball strike. His son, Darren, has to be coming up 18. And he has just accepted and will go to the University of California in Berkeley. Certainly that would make a dad happy. May not remember Darren, and then again you might, if you have a really good memory. The 2002 World Series, game number 5, Dusty was the manager of the San Francisco Giants. The Giants had a couple of men on base, and the Giant bat boy was 3 years old. That'll do it for Puig. Yeah, it was Darren. And that was where there was a base hit. J.T. Snow and another were coming to score. And little Darren at 3 was at home plate. So as Snow scored, he scooped up the 3-year-old and got him out of the way. And at the end of the innings, it's still 2-1 Washington. Third inning, 2-1 Washington. I can't say that Urias went against patsies. You look at who he's faced. The Mets, Chicago, Colorado, San Francisco, Milwaukee, and now another division leader, the Washington Nationals. He has certainly not been himself first 2 innings, even though he has struck out 3. 1-1 the count to Jason Worth. Jason was a great guy when he was here. In fact, I thought he and Brett Harper were going to come by and say hello. Brett came. Anyway, Bryce and I were talking about Jason Worth, and I said, you know, I haven't done it, but I'd like to describe Jason like I used to describe Kirk Gibson. And Bryce said, hi. How? I said, well, I used to say Gibson looks like he got here by raft, like his ship had sunk and he was a week out at sea. Harper thought it was perfect. What do you think? 2-2 the count to Jason Worth. Ground foul. Worth walked in the first inning. Ten home runs, 37 runs batted in. Time. When you look at several of Washington's players, you check last home run, and it seems like they're all against San Diego. They lost 2 games down there. Worth, however, was an exception. His last home run the middle of the month against the White Sox. In his career, 208 home runs. He played with the Dodgers 0-4-5. There's a changeup way out. 3-2. He's had several 3-2 counts, and he's already made 52 pitches. Fastball, a hopper into left field. So a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and Worth singled. Remember, we were talking when he goes 3-2, rookies normally are going to go a fastball. Zimmerman wasn't fooled, single to right on a 3-2 fastball. And now Worth, single sharply to left, 3-2. And a pretty good fastball at 95. So Corey Seager is now going to be all alone on the left side. And Bryce Harper, who struck out, coming up. Harper, 15 home runs, 43 runs batted in. He has struck out 50 times. Fouled away. 0-1 to Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, you could really spend some time talking about him. He was a teenager 4 years ago. Shows bunt, bunts it in the air, foul, and we'll back it up and try it again, 0-2. Harper had 22 home runs as a teenager, second most ever by a teen. Tony Canigliaro of the Red Sox had 24 way back in 1964. However, his on-base percentage, his slugging was over 8. It turned out he was right up there with Mel Ott and Tony Canigliaro. So from the very first time you saw him, you know it, he was a star. Throw to first, not in time. You not only have the right side loaded up, Seager is more of a second baseman than a shortstop. So there's just no chance that Harper's going to hit the left field, right? One and two. Harper is 6'3", 225 pounds. Born, still lives in Las Vegas with his mom and dad. He was playing T-ball when he was 3 against 6-year-olds. So he was a prodigy from the moment he put spikes on. Curveball got him. That's the second time Harper has gone down on that slow curve. So 4 strikeouts. And Daniel Murphy coming up. 2 runs, 4 hits for Washington. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Daniel Murphy, long fly ball to center to end the first inning. Slow curveball in. Murph talking to Jeff Nelson like they're 2 old friends. 0-1. Murph, by the way, is a very personable guy. 1 out, top of the third, 2-1 in favor of Washington. Fouled away. Urias, slow curveball, slider, fastball. Given up 2 runs, 4 hits. He has struck out 4. He has made a wild pitch. Cost him a run. Dodgers got their run on a wild pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Fastball got him. That was not the pitch Murph was looking for. And it was 95 miles an hour. So Murphy strikes out. That's 5 strikeouts. 2 down. And the batter Ramos. Though Jeff Nelson rings him up. Borderline pitch. Framed by Grandal. Two down, 5 strikeouts now for Urias. Murphy not hollering, but in his heart, you know, he felt it missed the zone. Ramos grounded to third in the 2nd inning. Veteran catcher having a big year with the bat. Worth has been on base twice, did not run at all in the 1st inning. Probably not going to run again. However, with the right-hand hitter up, Utley is way over to his right to fill up the middle. So Ramos has a shot to right or up the middle. Pitch, ball 1. Normally, if there's a hit and run, if the batter is right-handed, the second baseman will cover. If the batter is left-handed, the shortstop will cover. So before every one of those, if you look out, Utley, the captain, hold his glove up to his face, either opens his mouth or keeps his mouth closed. And before the game, they decide, okay, if I close my mouth, you cover, the other way around. Worth, meanwhile, looking over to his first base coach, Davey Lopes. All right, Ramos back up. Worth cautiously, not a big lead at all. Urias just looking at him. 1-1 is instead a throw. Each throw, Worth goes back on his hands and knees. So he's being very, very careful not to be picked off. Not taking a big lead at all. 1-1. Fastball lifted to shallow right. Puig hesitated, but comes up and makes the catch easily. So Urias settling down a little bit. Gives up a hit, strikes out 2, and at the end of 2.5, 2-1 Washington. Julio Urias will start it off. While he is at the plate, again, I'll remind you, maybe you weren't with us at the time, we are going to use the headline "Time Flies." Paul 1. It was the 2002 World Series. It was Game 5. Dusty Baker was the manager of the Giants, and his son Darren was 3 years old and the bat boy. Now, what we're going to show you is that amazing series of events that took place on an extra base hit against the Angels off the right center field wall at AT&T Park. Okay, there's one out. Now here we go. The batter coming up for the Angels. 2 men on. It'll be a drive to right, going to go off the bricks. And now here come the runners. And J.T. Snow grabs a 3-year-old and takes him off the field. That was Darren Baker. Now, after J.T. clears him, he then is allowed to get his bat. That's his job. You're the bat boy, son. He runs over, gets the bat, slides before picking up the bat, and then goes back to see Dad. It was a marvelous moment. And by the way, those graphic pictures that you see, a tribute to our man Rob Menchel. He was up there on the camera and made a magnificent story of a 3-year-old bat boy who is now 18 almost and going to the University of California.
Number 5, Corey
Great
Seager.
work, Rob. So we have 2 down. Urias followed by Utley. Here's Seager, who singled to center, batting .285. There was also another scene which we don't have, and maybe it's just as well. The Giants lost that game. And there is a picture of Dusty carrying his 3-year-old son, who is crying like a 2-year-old. A drive, and that's sending Taylor back to the track at the wall. Leaps up, no catch, home run. So Corey Seager hits it out, and we have a 2-2 tie for Corey. 16 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Got a fastball that was supposed to be a cutter, and it didn't cut. Just did clear the deck. So Seager hits it out. A 2-2 tie, and the batter now is Justin Turner. Strike, 0-1. So you look at Bryce Harper has 15, and Corey Seager now has 16. His last home run was when the Dodgers were in Arizona. 0-1. Whoop, little chin music. 1-1. For Ross, the 8th home run that he has allowed. So Joe Ross had a 2-1 lead for a little moment. Fouled away. 1-2. One thing that's Ross is not quite following his own script. He is basically a sinker ball pitcher who gets a lot of ground balls. We mentioned 9 double plays, but not now, not yet. 1-2. Down and away. The first 2 Dodger hitters in the first inning hit sharp ground balls for base hits. Everything else has been up in the air. And Seager up and out. Also a fact, the Dodgers now, since May 11th, have out-homered Washington. And Turner badly fooled on the slider, and down he goes. But not Corey Seager. Seager checking in and bangs one that clears the wall despite the efforts by Michael Taylor, and the Dodgers have tied it up. The end of 3, 2-2. 2-2, fourth inning. Dodgers are on a home run tear. They've now homered in 13 straight games. Changeup in for a strike to Ryan Zimmerman. The longest home run streak was the 1960 club. That was the year Pittsburgh went to the World Series against the Yankees. That club homered in 17 straight. What's also happened since May the 11th, the Dodgers have been hitting so many home runs. They're now ahead of Washington by 1 and Colorado by 6. Dodgers 58 home runs. High pop fly down the line, slicing foul, out of play. So Urias, who started off very shaky, couple of strikeouts, but behind on a lot of hitters, making a lot of pitches. Had 20 in the first, 25 in the second, 18 in the third was reasonable. He struck out 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2 in the fourth. Ground ball to the hole, backhanded by Corey, on his feet to throw, not in time. And Seager might have hurt himself a little bit, making an all-out effort.
Number 6, Anthony Rendon.
So Zimmerman singers to the hole at short. By the way, when Corey Seager hit his 16th home run of the year, immediately we wondered about his brother Kyle. Well, Kyle has 15 home runs. So the brothers, 31 home runs between them coming to the end of June. All right, Zimmerman, who singled to right in the second inning, singles to the hole at short. Here's Anthony Rendon. Ball 1. The Dodgers, you can bet, are watching the pitch of Urias. His last 3 starts for the Dodgers: 86, 86, 85. So he's got 69, and he's in the 4th inning. Dave Roberts, Bob Guerin, Rick Honeycutt really keeping an eye now. Number 70, and ball 3. One of the things up here, anyway, he looks a little awkward. I don't know if he's just trying to get something extra on the ball. Strike. Well, he's in the landing area. If you take a shot of the mound, you look down and you'll see exactly where the pitchers are following through. Just the other side is where the hole is. 3-1. 3-2. That can be a problem depending upon when that foot lands. We showed you the skid, but actually there's a hole if you go just down to the front of the mound. Down more and over. No, the other way. Oh well. 3-2 run it goes. They've got him picked off, and Ryan Zimmerman is hung out to dry. Well, he was going to go 3-2, but he committed before the pitch. So Rendon is up there 3-2, and there's the pickoff. Easy for Seager to just wait to get him. So 1-3-6. 1 out, and here's a 3-2 count. Fastball lifted to right. Puig is there. Ball carries a bit more than he thought. So we have 2 down in the 4th inning. Espinosa coming up. Say, friends, you can celebrate the '81 Dodger World Series Tri-MVP Saturday, July 2nd. Dodgers and Rockies. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive an '81 Tri-MVP bobblehead presented by Security Benefit. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com. Promotions: Messrs. Guerrero, Yeager, and Say. Dusty was on that ball club. Champion Yanks against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers came away the winner. Dusty and his toothpick. I only know of 2 men playing this game professionally who always used a toothpick. Big chopper to third, short hop nicely by Turner, and that'll be that. Who was the other player? Jimmy Wynn, who played the outfield. He always played, running the bases, doing everything, and so did Dusty with a toothpick. And it's 2-2. In a 2-2 tie, Dodgers will have Gonzalez, Thompson, and Peterson. Adrian flied to right in the first inning. Shift is on. Rendon all alone on the shortstop side. And a fly ball to left field. Coming over, Jason Worth puts it away. 1 down in the 4th. Trace Thompson lined out. So we're not seeing what we expected. I thought with the slider, the sinker, the 2-seam fastball, which is his sinker, we'd see a lot of ground balls, but not yet. He has 1 ground ball that was fielded that was hit by Urias. He had 2 ground ball singles up the middle. So here's Trace Thompson, lined out in the first inning. Two runs, 5 hits for Washington, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers, and a ground ball to Rendon, who kind of sidearms it. 2 down. A moment ago we were talking about toothpicks of all things, saying that Dusty Baker and Jimmy Wynn were the only 2 fellas who worked on a toothpick, and as you can see, Dusty, for the moment at least, is without it. But mostly he'll always have a toothpick. Oh, pardon me. There you go. He continues. And Jimmy Wynn played. And UL Washington, who spent a good time with Kansas City in the American League, shortstop, he also. By the way, can you imagine being the shortstop? I mean, I can see Dusty and Jimmy Wynn standing out there in the outfield. Now the shortstop. And by the way, you youngsters watching, forget it. Don't even think about it. There was nothing good to come from that. Nothing. Jock Peterson, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1. When we were saying goodbye, and that's what it was tonight before the game, Dusty looked at me and he said, "I'll see you in October." I said, "Hey, that'd be great." So we'll see. 1 ball and 1 strike. On the outside corner, nicely placed fastball. Jock, 13 home runs, 32 runs batted in. His buddy Seager now has 16. Trace Thompson, another buddy, has 11. They all live together. 1-2. Grandal waiting on deck. And off the plate, ball 3. Grandal fouled out in the second inning. 3-2 to Jock. And popped in the air, out of play. Dodgers got a run in the first inning, couple of base hits and a wild pitch. Then in the third, home run by Seager. Washington scored twice in the second. The big moment in the first when Chase Utley scored on the wild pitch. It was number 1,000 in his great career. Fouled at the plate, still 3-2. Joe Ross has struck out 3. Urias has struck out 5. By the way, talking about 19-year-old Dodgers, Branca with 70 strikeouts, Drysdale 55 tonight. He now has 34, so he has just moved ahead of Sandy Koufax. So if he doesn't do anything else, passing Koufax even in the hall is quite a moment. Next stop would be Joe Moeller. He'd have to do that maybe in another start. Joe had 46. So Grandal, to be honest, if you've been around the game a long time, it seems virtually impossible to see Grandal. A one-hopper down the right field line. He ripped that thing. Peterson is on his way to third on a long single to right. It is a rare time in the big league to look at an everyday starting catcher. Every day, except Sunday maybe, hitting 180. It's hard to fathom, really, that you can be the starting catcher hitting 180. But Grandal comes up with a single, and with 2 out, the batter will be Yasiel Puig. Puig struck out in the second inning, went 1 for 3 last night, coming off the DL. 2-2 tie, 4th inning. Peterson bluffing down the line, and the pitch got away and almost hit Puig. Going into this inning, Joe Ross had fallen behind 7 straight batters and yet retired 6 of the 7 eventually. Well, he has 2 out here, but he walked Peterson and then Grandal single. That's that slider. 2-0. Puig constantly beating himself with the bat. Two runs, 5 hits for Washington. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Now that was way off the plate. Yasiel trying so hard. The strike zone. They talked about shortening the swing, but it certainly lengthened on that bad pitch. 2-1. Runners at the corners, 2 out. High foul out of play. Giants won, so the heat is on the Dodgers. They have to win or leave here 6.5 back. Randall and Peterson at the corners with 2 out. 2-2 to Yasiel Puig. And down he goes. That looked more like a cutter. It didn't have a big break. If it was a quick slider, it was certainly leg breaking. So no runs, a whole 2 men left, and it's 2-2. On Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealer. Save big on a new Camry or Camry Hybrid at Toyota's July 4th sales event. Ah yes, post-game celebration. Scott Van Slyke dousing Corey Seager. Alana Rizzo trying to avoid the splashes. And we go to the 5th in a 2-2 tie. Joe Ross, good all-around athlete, doubled back in the 2nd inning to drive in Espinosa. 2-2 in the 5th. Big overhand curveball. Ball 1. Now 75 pitches. It'll be very interesting to see if he goes more than another 10. Strike. 1-1. To repeat, Urias last 3 games, 86, 86, 85. I find it kind of odd looking at a pitcher with a single number. Fly ball down the line, slicing foul. And somebody called it down there. Wow, what a fake that was. Adrian Gonzalez. I had my eyes on Utley. I was also thinking about Puig in a possible collision. And Adrian Gonzalez with that gold glove makes the play. There's Adrian. Looks like he's letting Utley. Instead, the ball goes by Utley, and look at that. Juggle, caught it. Puig is helping out, indicating an out. Keep your eye on the ball. You had 3 of them looking. All right, nice play by Adrian. Kind of looks embarrassed, but he hauled onto it. 1 away. Here's Taylor, struck out twice. Ball 1. Taylor did not play last night. Ben Revere played center. In the first game, he had 1 hit, a double. Yes, a double against Kershaw. Change curve again. Just an off-speed pitch and a beauty. Not quite as pronounced as Clayton Kershaw's big rainbow. But now he's at 80 pitches. Comes with a slider. 2-1. Well, no action in the Dodger bullpen. He's also due to lead off in the bottom of the 5th. So there's the judge and the jury. So pitch number 83 in a 2-2 tie. All right, Michael is ready. 2-2. And a high fastball. So now pitch number 84, Jason Worth waiting on deck. Fastball, down he goes. So for Taylor, he strikes out 3 times.
The fielder, Jason Worth.
6 strikeouts for Urias. So he is now has 18, struck out 35. Jason Worth walked and singled. Big slow breaking ball low. 1 ball and no strikes. I mentioned it earlier. It's really a shock. Under the heading of My How Time Flies. I was broadcasting when his grandfather played for the Dodgers back in the 60s, and broadcast when the uncle played for the Dodgers back in 1995. The Schofield. Grandfather called Ducky. Two and one to count. 2 down, 5th inning. 2-2. Another slow off-speed pitch. Little break to it. So now he's making his 89th pitch. He's already gone by his high of 86. Fastball, and it's hit to right center and deep. Back goes Puig on the dead run. It's going to bounce against the wall. Picked up by Peterson, and Worth into second with a stand-up double. So one thing, they are reading Urias. He's gone 3-2 quite a few, and each time he's gone 3-2 fastball like you would expect from a kid. In the Dodger bullpen, Lewis Coleman now gets up, and there's the fastball, and Worth all over it and doubles to right center. So Coleman getting ready. Urias now ready to make his 90th pitch, and now Gonzalez waving. I think he wanted the manager to come out. Instead, he wants Grandal. Adrian doing the talking. Utley listening. Utley is talking into his mitt. So Worth, 3-2 fastball for a double to right. And here's Bryce Harper, who certainly hasn't figured him out at all. Harper has struck out twice. Harper had a bad first game when he struck out 3 times. He also homered in the first inning last night to give him 15, but Corey Seager has passed him, hitting his 16th. Urias has had 8 3-ball counts. Slow breaking ball strike. And those 3-ball counts have really hurt him. So he's now made 90 pitches. However, right now it's still 2-2. '91 pitch coming up. Breaking ball popped in the air, foul. Turner, Grandal, it is neither. That should never happen. It should never happen for one reason. It happened in front of the Dodger bench. Somebody has to direct traffic. Somebody has to holler. Turner, Turner, Grandal, Grandal. What Grandal did, maybe out of the corner of his eye, he saw Turner and he suddenly stopped. But look at all the fellas on the rail. They're all just looking. I mean, you got to have some help. And here you had 15 guys. Now let's see. If Harper hits it out, that becomes a huge play. 0-2. 2 out. Runner at second. 2-2 tie. Slow and just off. Throwing a lot of those big slow rainbows. On deck is Daniel Murphy, another left-hand batter. So Murph waits. Harper up there, 1-2. Jason Worth, a tiebreaker at second. Off the plate. 2-2. So he's on the edge now of his 9th 3-ball count. Turner and Grandal hoping that drop foul ball did not hurt. 2-2. Slow. Another foul ball. Turner all alone. All right. I'll tell you, the bench has to be delighted that they didn't mess up. It was quite an inning. Remember Adrian Gonzalez making a rather remarkable play behind Utley, somehow holding on to the ball. Wow. And it's 2-2. Guerin talking both to Yasmani Grandal and Justin Turner from up here. Now maybe somebody did holler, but up here they all look like they were just watching, and it could have been the kind of a play you lose a game. Julio Urias made 94 pitches. They got him only 2 runs, so another fine game. When you see what the Dodgers have done for him, you realize not much. In the Milwaukee game, the Dodgers won 3-2. In the Giant game, he pitched. Dodgers lost 2-1. They could have won any one of those. Meanwhile, 1-2 to Will Venable. Venable, 1 hit, a double, and it helped win the game. Double to right. Two runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 6 hits. Little pop fly. Espinosa is there. Say, friends, when you think of 4th of July, you think of America's favorite pastime, right? Dodger baseball and fireworks. Well, celebrate the year at Dodger Stadium when the Orioles are here. Enjoy a post-game fireworks show courtesy of Hawaiian Springs Water. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Chase Utley singled and worked his way around to score his 1,000th career run. In the 3rd inning, he flied to left. 0-1. So Urias had trouble with his control in the sense he had 9 3-2 counts, and he still struck out 6, and again held to 1 walk. So in his last 4 games, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Tonight, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. So he's done a great job alone with his thoughts alongside of Scott Van Slyke. Dodgers just can't get him any runs, any kind of a cushion. Utley, who was thoroughly startled on that collision play almost with Puig, Utley, and Gonzalez. Utley couldn't believe Gonzalez had caught that foul ball. 3-1. Adrian getting one, a high foul ball, and he caught it below his knee. Dodgers got a run in the 1st. Washington came back with 2. Dodgers came back with 1 in the 3rd. And here we are, bottom of the 5th, 1 out. Corey Seager with a single and a home run on deck. He has 16 home runs, 1 more than his brother Kyle. 3-2. And he hits it at the end of the bat, a dunker, and a nice catch by Michael Taylor. So 2 out in the 5th, and now here's Corey.
Next up, Corey Seager.
Nice play by Michael Taylor to take a base hit. That thing was right off the end of the bat. Corey came up in the 3rd inning. Dodgers down by 1. Boom. Clearing the wall despite the great effort by Michael Taylor. 16 home runs for Corey. Since May the 11th, Corey Seager has hit 14 home runs. Adam Duvall has 14, Chris Bryant 12, and Danny Espinosa, the shortstop of Washington, 11. Two out, 5th inning, 2-2. Dodgers leave town, going to Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, and then come home for a long homestand. Colorado, Baltimore, and San Diego. That's just before the All-Star break. So the Dodgers have their longest homestand as we get into July. And with the All-Star break, they don't come back to play here until the 26th. So they finish with the 10th in San Diego and return on the 26th with Tampa Bay. Check swing, no swing. 2-2. Three and two to Corey. Justin Turner waiting on deck. Joe Ross ready to make his 80th pitch. And it's going to be banged into slightly right center. Taylor over to cut it off, and Turner holding.
Third baseman, Justin Turner.
Justin Turner fly deep to center, struck out, and singled. Two runs, 6 hits for Washington. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 2 out. And a fly ball to right going back is Harper. Plenty of room for Bryce. And that'll be that. So at the end of 5, we have a 2-2 tie. And my goodness, look who, I better count my grandchildren. They're not here, but there are 2 little angels. Bless your hearts. Are we happy to see you? And you're missing your front tooth, but whoops, I didn't say that. 2-2. The Dodgers were playing in the Coliseum. Sandy Koufax was the pitcher. And what he did, he struck out 16. Later that year in August, he struck out 18 Giants. But Koufax, pitching, Coliseum that seats 93,000. Paid attendance, 10,000. Let's go back to this one. ground ball to Gonzalez. Casey Fiend handling the throw, and we have one away. So Daniel Murphy grounds out. Casey gets his man. Wilson Ramos will be coming up. Yeah, can you imagine Sandy Koufax in a night game at the Coliseum? 93,000 seats available. 10,000 showed up. A couple of years later, be a heck of a lot more 10,000 to just watch him walk around the field. Wilson Ramos suffered a terrifying experience. Happily, it worked out okay. Ramos from Venezuela and was kidnapped. Pitch off the plate, 1-1. Wilson, the second oldest among 6 children, 4 brothers and a sister. 2 of the younger boys are also catchers. It was 5 years ago in November. 4 armed men went into his home in Santa Ynez. That would be 95 miles west of Caracas. And they took him away at 6:45. He was home with his mom and brothers, and several men just came in and took him. They found the SUV the next day, and later, 2 days later, they found him. An air operation in a mountainous zone. The 3 men were arrested, and his mom celebrated, exclaiming on television, "Thanks to God." And Ramos enjoying a fine career despite striking out. 2 down. And the batter, Zimmerman. Zimmerman single to right, single to short, scored 1, and takes a strike. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 6th, Thompson, Peterson, Randall. Casey Michael Fiend by name, born in Santa Rosa, lives in Buena Park. Went to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. Good size. Big leagues like pitchers big. He's 6'2", 195, and originally signed with Detroit. 1-2. Waiting on deck, Anthony Rendon. 1-2 to Ryan. Fastball down and away. 2-2. Casey's been around. Started in 2006, came up to the Tigers in 09. Went from the Tigers to the Twins, and eventually from the Twins this year to the Dodgers. 2-2. Little nubber. Randall says, "I'll take care of it," and go. So a nice inning for Casey. 1-2-3, picking up a strikeout. Here come the Dodgers, bottom of the 6th. Thompson, Peterson, and Grandal in a 2-2 tie. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the California Classic Double Cheeseburger for just $2.49 at Carl's Jr. 2-2 tie. Adrian Gonzalez starting it all. Then it'll be Thompson and Peterson. Joe Ross has been very much of a surprise for me. Well, there's a ground ball and the feed. He had only 2 ground balls and 9 fly balls. And yet, anything I had read about him, he threw a lot of ground balls. But not tonight. Meanwhile, he's tied up in the 6th inning, which for him, and we mentioned it at the start of the game, the 6th inning of his games have been nightmares. His earned run average, so to speak, in that 1 inning is over 9. Though it's his worst inning of any game he pitches, he's already got 1 out. Still throwing hard at 93. One ball and 1 strike. Ross now up to 85 with his pitch count. Bottom of the 6th inning, a 2-2 tie. This stayed in under the hands, ball 2. Going into this game, Joe Ross has done very well against the middle of the lineup. Numbers 4, 5, and 6. .211 batting average against him. Good slider. 2-2. Joe Ross, Tyson's kid brother. And another slider, and down goes Thompson. That was one of the things Ian Desmond, who used to play for Washington, when Joe Ross made his major league debut. After the game, Desmond said, you know, he's a young man with an old head. He said he's 22 or something, but he's at least 30 between the ears. He knows how to pitch. Took him a little while to get on track in the 1st inning. He had a little bit of a scrape in the 4th. Otherwise doing very well. Here's Peterson, struck out and walked. So the Dodgers have managed to hit 3 ground balls. And that's going to be in the air to right field, and Bryce Harper's there. So it's a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. And at the end of 6, a 2-2 tie. 6, striking out 1. Now in the 7th inning, bottom of the 3, Rendon, Espinosa, and the pitcher, Joe Ross. Rendon, 7 home runs, so he has some sock. Although he's not a big man, he's in great shape. They said he can deadlift 505 pounds on a trap bar for 7 repetitions. Wow. He's an even 6, about 200 pounds. A little 3-year-old in Texas would pick up rocks, pine cones, hit him with a stick, and he was only 3, and that led him to becoming a big league ball player. Rendon still remembers not only his first game, but getting to the big leagues and going to Citi Field in New York. As he said, he was absolutely amazed at the scenery. Spent the whole time looking out the window, and then went to the ballpark and went 0 for 4 in his first big league game. Two and 2. Amazing drill that Anthony Rendon had. They would toss a ball that had knobs on the ball, so it would bounce unpredictably, and yet he would catch it with his left hand. Slicing foul ball, out of play. To mimic as if you were playing in the creeping shadows of an afternoon baseball game, they did it with that ball with an open door to let sunlight in. So as he shuffled his feet, he kept his legs spread open if a fielder and a grounder nabbed every ball. Never heard of that before, but that's what he did. He's from Texas. When he broke in against the Astros, he left a good 200 tickets. Another foul ball. Anthony Rendon. Anthony Michael, to be exact. Deadlift 505 pounds on a trap bar 7 times. 3 and 2. Those who watch him play every day, he has remarkable cat-like reflexes. Another foul ball. Rendon, first round pick by the Nationals. Checked in 2012 and was in the big leagues 2 years later. And ball 4. So Rendon draws the walk. Make the little leaguer in your life feel like a big leaguer with a replica Dodger locker nameplate presented by Time Warner Cable. Available to the first 15,000 kids in attendance July 6th. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. That would be with Baltimore. Danny Espinosa, double grounded out. 13 home runs. So they have to be very careful with a number 8 hitter like that. Runner goes, pitch is missed. The throw down, safe. Grandal said, "You kidding me?" as he walks out towards the mound. Here's the throw. See, the left leg was raised. That was a nice bit of sliding. Wow. Now Seager's looking for that leg, and it raises, and then the bottom leg is the tag, and it's bang bang. So the first time you looked at it, it looked easy. But see the leg and then the tag on the knee? Grandal was furious. He hollered out, "You kidding me?" He thought he had him dead to rights. All right, they're going to review it. In a 2-2 tie, it's a big play. Raised that leg, but Seager didn't go for it. Made the tag. Well, Rendon is either at second base, nobody out, or one out, base is empty. I could read Yasmani Grandal's lips. He had another word before. Yeah, he was right. His instinctive reaction was the tag on the short leg, so to speak. Nice play by Seager to make the tag. Dusty just quietly watches, and Rendon is through. Rendon, by the way, is a very good base stealer. He had stolen 7 out of 10. All right, the Dodgers, they rolled up the right side. Turner all alone. Espinosa 0-1. And a drag bunt. Good one. Espinosa is going to beat it out. Yes, indeed. So Danny Espinosa lays down a dandy. And that brings up Joe Ross, the pitcher. He brought it right along with him. Gonzalez couldn't get it. Fiend tried to get it to Utley, but too late. So for the Dodgers, they are thankful that they were able to nail Rendon. It is followed by the bunt. Down in the Dodger bullpen, left-hander Adam Liberatore begins to loosen up. Joe Ross doubled to right and fouled out. Ross a good hitter. Espinosa is 3 for 3 in stolen bases. And ball 1. So Fiend got the side out in the 6th. Walk Rendon, who was thrown out trying to steal, gives up the bunt single to Espinosa. One ball and no strikes. Fastball, dead bunt foul. Giving you time to tell you a little bit more about Casey Fiend. His uncle was California State Senator from 2004 to 2010. And his uncle George is now member of the California State Board of Equalization from 2011 to the present. So Casey at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo as a politician indeed in his life. By the way, Espinosa with that beautiful bunt. He leads the major league now with 6 bunt singles. You know, he looks like a little bit FP San Angelo. He really does. Remember FP? 1 ball and 1 strike. FP San Angelo is now a broadcaster, and there's a ground ball by the drawn-in Justin Turner, just like that. A walk and 2 singles. So it's good for the Dodgers that they were able to get Rendon. Ross, meanwhile, is 2 for 3, and the batter is Michael Taylor. Taylor's had a very rough night. Kind of a nightmare for a hitter. 3 times at bat, 3 times strikeout, 3 times walking back to the dugout. So a walk that was erased, then 2 singles, a bunt. Joe Ross with a double and a single. So he now has 8 hits. Giants won. Still pressure on the Dodgers. 0-1. Espinosa runs very well. Ross at first. Taylor at the plate has a lot of speed. He had 63 stolen bases last year for the Nationals. And another strike. So Taylor's in that zone where it's like he walks up to the plate and he inherits a count. Striking out 3 times and immediately no balls, 2 strikes. First year with the Nationals last year, he did strike out 158 times. Oh, and 2. Two runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Nationals. That is a tough night for anybody. So Taylor in the leadoff role strikes out 4 times. Second strikeout for Casey. And now Jason Worth. Worth walked, singled, and doubled. Liebertor still throwing in the pen because Bryce Harper hits after Worth. Giants were down 6-1 in Pittsburgh. Turned it around. Joe Panik had a key hit, and the Giants pulled it out 7-6. To repeat, the Pirates have now lost 19 of the last 26, and that's where the Dodgers are heading after tonight. Strike. Casey in a tough spot, taking plenty of time. The biggest play, the fact that Rendon opened the inning with a walk and was caught stealing. So Thiem working on a new ball deep in thought. Basically the 2 fastballs, the 2-seamer that sinks would be his out pitch. And he learned a cutter a couple of years ago. Change up, not quite right. 0-2 the count. Last year, he threw the fastball about 49%, and 37% he threw the cutter. So we'll see what he does with Jason Worth. No balls and 2 strikes. Nationals have lost 4 in a row. Dodgers have won 5 in a row. On Dusty Baker bobblehead night. 2 on, 2 out, 0-2. Fastball, foul back. Still 0-2. Jason Worth. Worth with 10 home runs, 37 runs batted in. For Jason Worth, still doing a great job. He's 37 years old. Plays every day. Fastball got away, 1-2. Way back when he first signed, when he was playing with the Phillies, he stole 20 bases 2 years in a row. He had 1 year, 36 home runs, 99 runs batted in, and 20 stolen bases. Put up some big numbers, especially for the Phillies. 1-2. Fastball, fly ball. Coming is Puig. That's right. So the key, they got Rendon after walking. Those 2 base hits followed. Bean gets out of it. And at the end of 6.5, 2-2. Well, tomorrow's a travel day. They'll leave about 11 in the morning, 3-hour difference. So they'll get to Pittsburgh 7 o'clock for dinner. And then they played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at Pittsburgh. Last year, they lost all 3 played there. Then they'll go to Milwaukee. Last year, they played 4. This year, 3. Last year, they split the 4 with Milwaukee. Well, we were telling you about Joe Ross and his problems, and he dodged the 6th inning. That's where his earned run average just in that 6th inning is over 9. But in the 6th inning tonight, 1, 2, 3, including a strikeout. So Joe going to work now on Yasmani Grandal. Ball 1. Espinosa and Rendon staying on the left side of the infield. Murphy is 20 feet out into right field. Ground ball, Murphy can't get near it. It's into right center. So Grandal comes up with his 2nd hit. 2 for 3. Leadoff men getting aboard. That hasn't happened very often at all. Utley led off. the game for the Dodgers. Oliver Perez in the bullpen, and Utley singled. But Peterson struck out in the second. Urias grounded out in the third. Gonzalez flied to left in the fourth. Venable popped up in the fifth. Gonzalez grounded out in the sixth. So Grandal becomes the first leadoff man to get on for the Dodgers. And here's Puig. Scott Van Slyke tuning up in the on-deck circle. Puig has struck out twice. You can talk to the center fielder, Michael Taylor, who has struck out 4 times. It happens. Line drive foul. Casey Thiem has given the Dodgers 2 innings. Made 32 pitches. With Van Skype on deck, Pedro Baez is getting ready to come in. Though Casey did his job despite a walk and 2 singles. 0-1 to Yasiel Puig. Inside, 1-1. Two runs, 8 hits for Washington. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. We're at the bottom of the Dodger lineup in the 8th. It'll be Harper, Murphy, and Ramos for the Nationals. 1-1. Didn't go after the slider. Started to, laid off it. In the other at bat, he chased it and missed it by a good foot. Chris Spire. Remember Chris when he played short for the Giants? There he is alongside of Dusty. And another slider, 2-2. And now Puig trying to figure out, well, I haven't come close to hitting that slider. Will he give me another one? Look at the catcher's glove. Instead, it's a fastball, and that's fouled away. So the mitt was down, the fastball was a bit up, and Yasiel fouled it off. Still 2-2. Joe Ross has now made 97 pitches. He's had to work hard just about every inning, and he's certainly been equal to the burden. Last 3 games, he did not get close to 100. Here's number 8. Curveball, bang to left field. Racing over the plate on a hop is Worth. So it was a breaking ball for sure. And Yasiel line drive single to left. Take another look. Pitch is up there. Just starts to dip and bang. A.J. Ellis is coming up. Ellis might very well be asked to bunt. Also, Scott Van Slyke, who was on deck to hit, will now instead take over and run for Grandal.
The game to pitch run, number 33, Scott Van Slyke.
So Van Slyke running for Grandal.
Number 17, A.J. Ellis.
The other night, when the Dodgers won a terrific game, A.J. Ellis had a big bunt with 2 strikes. It was a perfectly executed sacrifice. It was kind of lost in the shuffle. That would not be a surprise with nobody out if he tries to bunt again. It was the game against Milwaukee where Turner singled in the run. That bunt is missed, 0-1. It was a 10-inning game. It was Urias and Davies, but by the time they got to the 10th, it was Jeffress and Baez. And on a no-ball, 2-strike count, after Venable had doubled to right, A.J. made a terrific bunt on a very tough 0-2 pitch. Now 2 on, nobody out. Van Slyke and Puig showing bunt. Got it down. Ross fires to his second baseman Murphy. So A.J. does it again. He moves his men along. Runners at second and third. Another talent that he brings to the game. Well done. So A.J. sacrifices nicely. And now second and third, Dusty's gone out. We have the left-hand batters, Utley and Seager. And they'll be going to the bullpen, so we'll be right back. By BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. The veteran left-hander, the kid from Culiacan, Mexico. That's the same city that gave us Urias. Oliver Perez, 6'3", 210, 35 years old in August, originally signed by the Padres. So Joe Ross, 6 1/3, 100 pitches, only 2 runs, but in a tough spot, leaving the responsibility to Perez with 2 of his runners at second and third. So here's Kike, 5 home runs, 12 runs batted in, batting for Chase Utley. Utley had singled, flied to left, flied to center, scored his 1,000th career run. So Dodgers now with a big advantage. The infield has to play up, and Perez ready. Kind of slides that one in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Perez is a strikeout pitcher. This year, he's averaging almost 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Foul back, 0-2. So Hernandez in a hole. One nice thing for Kike, the Dodgers are going to Pittsburgh. He'll have a chance to see his dad, who's been battling cancer, and the big reason why he shaved his head. Aha. Peekaboo. 0-2. Breaking ball got him. Wow. No wonder he's averaging 12 strikeouts for 9. A 35-year-old left-hander with a snake.
Shortstop, number 5, Corey Seager.
So 2 down, runners holding at second and third. Corey Seager tonight, singled to center, homered, then singled again. 16 home runs, 37 runs batted in. We were happy to report his brother Kyle has 15 home runs. That's that big snake. Only 80 miles an hour, but it seems like it's just on another plane as far as the hitters are concerned. He also has a pretty deceptive move with that right leg. Fastball, slider, curve, and a change, but the slider is the thing. That's remarkable. Chipper Jones once talked about Oliver and said it was like batting against Randy Johnson. There's that leg, the hesitation, and there's that little sinker. So 35, averaging 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Comes in, nails Hernandez, and now trying to get Seager and get Ross out of the jam. Van Slyke and Puig are out there, and a high fly ball, very playable. Taylor is there. What a nice job turned in by Oliver Perez. So the Dodgers first and second and nobody out, and Perez keeps them away. The end of 7, 2-2. Dodgers blow a big chance. Kike Hernandez strikes out for Utley. Stays in the game at second base. A.J. Ellis bunted successfully. He takes over behind the plate. Adam Liebertor, third Dodger pitcher. Urias, Fiend, and now Adam with that great earned run average, 0.7. Fastball for ball 1. The Dodger bullpen coming into this game had allowed 3 earned runs in 19 innings. Though add 2 more, 3 earned runs in 21 innings. Two, top of the 8th. 2-0. Bryce Harper does have a home run, but it's been a big, quiet 3-game series. Struck out twice, fouled out tonight. Fastball in there. For Bryce Harper, last year, he really took over. 42 home runs, 99 runs batted in, and all he did was hit .330. 2-1. Fastball grounded right where the Dodgers had him figured out. Justin Turner throws him out, and we have 1 out. Say, friends, the 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to Dodgers.com, choose your hashtag ASG-worthy-stars, and send them to the MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 12th in San Diego. Vote at Dodgers.com/vote. Pretty good idea to vote for Corey Seager after the first half that he's having. Meanwhile, Daniel Murphy 0 for 3. Breaking ball, strike. Murphy flied to center, struck out, was very unhappy with Jeff Nelson's call, and last time up grounded out. One and one. Can't get over the job Oliver Perez did. Second and third and 1 out. They bring him in. He strikes out Hernandez, gets Seager on a fly ball, made 6 pitches, and they were all strikes. Now that's a relief. From Culiacan, Urias' hometown. 2-1 to count to Daniel Murphy. Murphy came into the game hitting .352. He's had to give a few points back. 12 home runs, 46 runs batted in, and has only struck out 30 times all year. Ground ball by the mound, racing as Kike comes up with it, throws, and makes the play. Boy, just coming off the bench, that's a wonderful play. So Murphy losing a base hit, and we have 2 down. Kike had to travel a long way and then to get the throw off with something on it. That's one thing, but now on one leg, throwing back in time. 2 down in the 8th. Wilson Ramos is coming in. Liberatore is going to give the ball back, and they'll bring in a right-hander. That would be Pedro Baez. 2 out, bases empty. Ramos coming up, and we'll be back. in here in the 8th inning with 2 outs. For the Washington Nationals, they scored both runs in the 2nd inning. Since that time, they have not been able to get a man to third. Meanwhile, the Dodgers have struggled. They scored 1 in the 1st inning. Seager hit a home run in the 3rd, and the Dodger offense has not been heard from. So it's been Urias, Fiend, Liberatore, and now Baez. For Washington, Ross and Perez. And the batter will be Wilson Ramos. Well, he told us the other night it's just a tip-off on a kid. Here he is growing up, looking for food in Valencia, Venezuela. And he found a horse wandering the streets. So he got the horse and collected money from neighborhood children for rides. Then later on, he made a homemade trap, baited it with honey, caught some tropical birds, and he sold them to a local pet store. So with that kind of brains and physicality, here he is, a big league catcher. That figures. Well, hello. 1 ball and no strikes. Baez from Boni in the Dominican. Wilson Abraham Ramos. .29 years old, an even 6-footer, and a solid 220. One and one. Ramos came into the game hitting .332. Going 0 for 3. He's given a few points back, hitting .327. One and one. And a drive to left and deep, and Ramos has hit it out halfway up the pavilion. So the wise young kid becomes a wise adult catcher, and he can also hit. 12 home runs, 39 runs batted in. His friends call him Pippo. Well, he's a pip. And it is 3-2 Washington. No doubt about it, he got all of that thing. Halfway up. So for Baez, he has now given up 7 home runs in 33 innings. Remember the first pitch? Remember the first pitch that went all the back to the backstop just by Ramos' head? Well, if nothing else, he got some extra pleasure following that pitch. So here's Zimmerman. 0-1. Zimmerman singled to right, scored, singled to short, and grounded out. Looked like Jeff Nelson got a little bit of that foul ball, but he said, I'm all right. A.J. Ellis trying to give him a little extra time, and so is Zimmerman. 3-2 in favor of Washington in the 8th inning. Washington now has hit 99 home runs. The Dodgers, when Seager hit his, have hit 83. Oh, 2. 1-2. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th, Turner, Gonzalez, and Thompson. One ball, 2 strikes. And fouled away. Ryan Zimmerman enjoying a fine career. Zimmerman last year had plantar fasciitis in his left foot, so he lost about a month on the DL. High foul ball, out of play. I mentioned it the other night. I was impressed with the wise man who said it. Ryan said the best advice anyone ever gave him was, quote, to work harder when nobody is looking. Mm-hmm. One ball and 2 strikes. Got a little bit of a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. A lot of great athletes grew up around the Virginia Beach area. Allen Iverson, Alonzo Mourning, Michael and Marcus Vick, David Wright, and both of the Uston boys, BJ and Justin. 1 and 2. And down goes Zimmerman, but the damage was hit. Wilson Ramos buries one into the bleachers 3/4 of the way up, and Washington leads 3-2. Wilson Ramos, 3-2 Washington, bottom of the 8th. It is Felipe Javier Rivero out of San Felipe, Venezuela. The B-25, 5th of July. His figures don't look good. On paper, he comes in 0-3. Look at the earned run average, 6.6. He throws hard, 3-1, almost 4. 39 strikeouts and 11 walks. Justin Turner, fly to center, struck out, 0 for 3, hitting .245, 10 home runs, 32 runs batted in. And high strike at 95, 0-1. The big Dodger home runs on this homestand have occurred in the 8th inning. 0-1. Missed inside, 1-1. On the 17th, remember, Justin Turner hit a home run to tie it against Tyler Thornburg, and then Justin won it with a 10th inning single. That was the game that had that great Ellis no ball 2-strike count. Bunt. 2-1. On the 19th, you may remember, in the 8th inning, Kike Hernandez tied the game with a home run in the 8th. Grandal had the walk-off walk with the bases loaded. And then last night, it was the 8th inning, and Grandal hit the 3-run home run. Meanwhile, with all of that, Rivero has fallen behind 3-1. We'll check Rivero's numbers. 11 walks. Waiting on deck, Adrian Gonzalez. 3-1. Fastball lifted to right center and deep. Taylor on the track, however, has a play. So a long out to right center, one away in the 8th. And the batter will be Adrian Gonzalez.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Gonzalez 0 for 3. And then Thompson 0 for 3. Rondon all alone on the left side. Espinosa moves over. So they load up the right, and as usual, Daniel Murphy a good 20 feet at least out into right field. Fastball missed. 1 ball and no strikes. Rivero 13 holds, getting the ball to whoever closes, and that's normally Papelbon. Sean Kelly now warming up. Ground ball to first, an easy play by Zimmerman, and we have 2 down. So the Dodgers faced with yet another challenge.
Number 21.
Giants don't seem like they want to lose. They had a losing streak of 1 after having an 8-game winning streak snap. And then they came right back last night, and the Giants scored 15 runs on 22 hits. And then tonight, Giants trailed 6-1 and pulled the game out and beat Pittsburgh 7-6. So the Dodgers trying to battle closer, and they're in danger of going back to 6.5. Clint Robinson, who spent about an hour and a half with the Dodgers, is going to come in and play first base. Zimmerman made the last out, so Sean Kelly, the right-hander, will go into Zimmerman's spot. And with all of that, we'll be right back. Kelly by name, out of Louisville, Kentucky. The Mariners drafted him back in 2007 out of Austin Peay State University in Tennessee. And he was signed in 2007 and he was up with the Mariners just 2 years later. Big fella, 6'2", 220. Trace Thompson has lined out, grounded out, struck out. Dodger bullpen, Joe Blanton. If you're keeping score, put Kelly in Zimmerman's spot. Clint Robinson takes over at first, batting ninth. 0-1. Kelly thought he would never become a professional. He was pitching at Austin Peay. He had 4 great seasons, set all kinds of records, and never got a phone call from a scout. And then he was in a great pitching matchup against David Price. Foul ball out of play. NCAA tournament. Price had dominated the college game. Sean, he was just another college pitcher. Instead, it went 11 innings, and he pitched the game of his life. Price was brilliant, but Kelly outdueled him. Ball 1. In fact, Price was talking about Kelly, said it was the best pitching matchup I've ever had in college. That guy took me to the limit, and that guy was Sean Andrew Kelly. Two and two. Strike 3. Looked like a high cutter. Thompson can't believe it. Dodgers go down, and at the end of 8, it's 3-2 Washington. Top of the 9th inning, 3-2 in favor of Washington. The home run by Wilson Ramos put him ahead in the 8th inning. Pedro Baez, who gave it up, now working the 9th. Rendon has grounded out, flied to right, and walked. Strike. Crowd kind of quiet right now with the Dodgers down by 1. 43,000. 776. 43-776 on Dusty Baker bobblehead night. 2 streaks on the line. Washington has a 4-game losing streak. Casey certainly wants to stop that. Dodgers have a 5-game winning streak. Could be painful if they lose since the Giants won. 1 ball and 1 strike. That was inside and low. 2-1 the count. Julio Urias went 5, 2 runs, 6 hits, struck out 6. For Washington, they have the weekend in Milwaukee, and then they play the New York Mets. That's going to be a big series. The Mets began the day 4.5 behind Dusty. Talking about hand movement to Michael Taylor, who was struck out 4 times. Somehow Baker made him smile, and that's one of Dusty's tricks, to make a kid smile after striking out 4 times. 2-2 to Anthony Rendon. Yeah, there it is. He changes toothpicks about every inning. I don't know, that always bothered me when he was here playing. Never got hurt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball hit into left field, base hit. So it was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. I think Rendon might have cracked the bat, and he still catches up and singles to left.
Shortstop number 8, Danny Espinosa.
So Espinosa coming up. Espinosa doubled, grounded out, and then laid down as good a drag bunt as you'll ever want to see. Brought it right up along first base. Marvelous. However, despite the bunt single, Taylor struck out and Worth flied to right. So now Rendon at first, nobody out. Espinosa, a very good bunter. He has a half a dozen, but he can also hurt you. Espinosa, as he stands in at the plate, 13 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Switch hitter. As far as his home runs are concerned, you break down the 13. He's hit 8 of them left-handed. Rendon tried to steal in the 7th inning. Grandal threw him out, and that was a big play. It prevented Washington from scoring a run to take the tie. So Ramos did it in the 8th by hitting the home run. One ball and no strikes. Clint Robinson, who was in 9 games for the Dodgers, he's on deck. We said Clint Robinson was with the Dodgers for a cup of coffee. It was probably Demitas. And foul back. In the Dodger bullpen, it's been Fiend, Libitor, Baez, and now Chris Hatcher. When the Dodgers come up, if you're not keeping score, in the bottom of the 9th inning, they're due to start off with Peterson. One ball, one strike. And a high pop fly. Seager will take care of it. So Rendon holding at first. Espinosa pops it up. And here's Clint Robinson. Clinton Michael
baseman,
Robinson
25,
out of
Clinton
Jefferson
Robinson.
City, Missouri, lives in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Went to Troy College in Alabama. Originally drafted by the Royals. And a big guy who's just born to play first base. 6'5", 225 pounds. 2 years ago, 9 at-bats, and he had 3 hits. 2 RBIs with the Dodgers. Went back to Albuquerque last year, came up with the Nationals, and promptly bangs it into left field for a base hit. So Robinson is singled. Baez now in a little trouble. 2 on, 1 out. And here comes Michael Taylor, who was able to grin after Dusty was doing a little imitation of the bat. Michael has struck out 4 times tonight. Hitting after or behind Taylor, Jason Worth. All right, Ellis has made his trip to the mound. AJ picking up for Grandal. Rendon at second, Robinson at first, 1 out. Boy, it's quiet. Wow, like a library. Ball 1. Dodgers got a run in the first inning. The Nationals got 2 in the second. Dodgers tied it in the third, and that was it until Ramos homered in the 8th. 3-2 Nationals. And ball 2. Hatcher would appear to be ready if they want him. He's made enough pitches down there in the bullpen. And what he has been doing, he'll make a pitch, then stop and see what Baez is up to. Two balls, no strikes. The heater, 2-1. Two on, 1 out. 3-2 Washington, 9th inning. Remember that brief shot we had of Dusty showing the hands turning and everything? I'm not sure if he wants young Taylor to cut that out or not. He's hollering encouragement of some kind. Maybe quiet the bat a little. 2-2 the count. Under the heading, this game can be a humbling game. That's where Taylor is. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rendon at second. Robinson at first, 1 away. Jason Worth waiting on deck. Two and 2. Oh, wow. That's too bad. I mean, it's okay to see guys making out. I hate to see any ball player strike out 5 times, but that's where he is. So Baez picks up his second strikeout. Taylor's too big to cry, but I bet we all know how he feels. You walk by your manager. Jason Worth has walked, singled, doubled, and flied to right. Hernandez and Gonzalez having a little chat on the right side. Now that breaks up. Jason Worth 2 for 3. 10 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Dodgers will have Peterson to start the ninth. Then Baez due up, and then Puig. Okay, the battle continues. Baez ready to make his 26th pitch. Right, fastball, 98. That's one of those things you just say to the umpire, didn't that sound low? Two out, top of the ninth, 3-2 Nationals. Oh, and 2. Foul back. Jason has a lot of labels. His influence has spread through just about every phase of the Nationals operation. He's been called a clubhouse enforcer, protector of teammates, emissary to management. Oh, and 2. Among other things, in his way with Washington, he brought in the isokinetic activation device, got the Nationals to improve how they feed, train, and maintain the health of the players. They listened, spent a lot of money, and made upgrades. So Jason Worth at 37 still carries a great deal of worth and still a dangerous hitter. Hitting after him, Bryce Harper. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, 3-2 Washington in the ninth. Almost hit him. 2-2. So the deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, 3-2 Washington. The crowd is quiet. I think they're holding their breath collectively. Two and 2. And ball 3. The Baez now faced with either throwing a strike or loading the bases for Bryce Harper. Tough time for Honeycutt. Bryce just waiting. All right, big pitch. Baez, 28 years old. Been with the Dodgers since 2013. Runners go. Foul back. Three and two to Jason Worth. We haven't had a ball come in here in quite a while. There you go. Now to find it, pick it up, and look for a child. Couldn't find one, so dropped it down. Great moment in sports, right? All right, runners ready to go again. 3 and 2. Fastball fouled away. So Baez keeps throwing 97, 98. Jason fighting, fouling him back. And the runners getting a few wind sprints out there on the base path. To repeat, the Dodgers will have Peterson, a batter for Baez, and then Puig. There they go. And the drive down the right field line, carrying and slicing and going foul. So Werther was hit 10, a little bit late on that high 98 fastball. So it's quite a battle. 4 fouls. It's a 9-pitch at bat. The runners have been going 3 and 2. So on the 10th pitch, they'll be going again. And Bryce Harper waiting on deck. So the pace really settling down now. Jason Worth so far has battled Baez for 8 minutes. All right. Rendon at second, Robinson at first. Here comes the 10th pitch. Ground foul outside of third. Boy, that's something. Pulling that 97-mile-an-hour fastball foul. Three and 2 again. Runners go again, and it's ball 4 on a check swing. So Jason Worth at 37 is still worth it. And Bryce Harper will be coming up. I think that'll do it for Baez. By the way, you can just think about it as Chris Hatcher comes in. Bryce Harper has 2 career grand slams, and both of them this year. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for the Dodgers, number 41, Chris Hatcher.
This spot to a leopard? Well, it's inherited by Chris Hatcher. The bases are loaded, 2 out, top of the 9th inning, and Bryce Harper coming up, who has 2 grand slams, each of them hit this year. He's had a very quiet series for him, certainly. All he's hitting is .387 with the bases loaded. This year, 2 for 4. He finds Rendon at third, Robinson at second, Worth at first. What a net bat for Jason Worth. And now Harper and Hatcher going head to head. Fouled away. When Harper hit the 2 grand slams, he actually hit them 2 days apart, 6 days apart. He hit a home run, a slam against Atlanta, and then 6 days later, a grand slam against Miami. Tonight, struck out twice, fouled out, grounded out, so he has not been able to hit the ball out of the infield. For Harper, it's a slow start. Oh yes, 15 home runs, 43 runs batted in. But Harper came into the game hitting just .258. Last year, remember, he hit .330. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bryce Harper certainly figures to be out a long time. Right now he's 23. He'll be 24 in the middle of October. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2. At third, Rendon. At second, Robinson. At first, Worth. 1 and 2 to Bryce Harper. And a little dribbler up along first. Gonzalez feeding and getting him. So Harper grounding out 3-1. Nice job by Chris Hatcher. So the Dodgers coming up with Jock Peterson to lead the way. Peterson tonight has struck out, walked, and flied to right. The 9th inning, you would normally expect to see Jonathan Papelbon. However, he's on the DL with a right intercostal strain, and he just went on the 14th. So they're without their closer. And the Dodgers now going up against Sean Kelly. Papelbon at 16 saves. Kelly has 2. That was a long top of the 9th inning, especially that at bat with Jason Worth. So Kelly, who retired the side in the 8th, was sitting in the dugout a while after making only 6 pitches in the 8th inning. So we'll see if that's a break for the Dodgers or not. Oh, and 1. Peterson, a walk, strikeout, fly ball. 1-1. Howie Kendrick is out on deck to hit for Hatcher, who was originally in Grandal's spot. And a strike, 1-2. Jason Worth, when he was up there and walked in the 9th inning, that was 11 pitches. So it did a great job on Baez, and then Hatcher came in and got Harper. 2-2. Kelly trying to hold on to a 1-run lead and help his ball club snap a 4-game losing streak. Off speed, big swing. Peterson just did get a nick. Still there. And now gone. So 1 away. That off-speed pitch had him spinning.
Hitter, number 47,
wounding up and gave it his best shot and almost fell down. So 1 out in the 9th. Kelly has struck out 2 in a row. Got Thompson in the 8th. Dodgers now have run out of position players. Kendrick was the last one, and he's now batting. 0-1. Howie made a couple of fine defensive plays last night. He's just getting better and better in left field. Fouled away. So Howie Kendrick trying to keep the door open. Yasiel Puig is on deck. 1 out in the 9th. 3-2 Washington. 1-2. And now Kelly is 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Squirted into right field. It looked like Kelly took a lot off that. And Kendrick just stayed back and then took it to right field. So here comes Yasiel Puig.
Right fielder,
yeah, off speed, not much on it. And it was just squirted into right. So in that spot, there have been 3 hits. 2 by Grandal, and now this one by Kendrick. Puig struck out twice and singled to left. And a strike. Kelly has 3 pitches basically. 2-seam fastball, a slider, that's his strikeout pitch, and a changeup. Pretty sure that Kendrick hit the changeup. 0-1. Ground ball right by the diving Espinosa, stopping at second, and the ball goes through Taylor's legs. Here comes Kendrick to tie Puig is on his way. The relay is double clutch. Can you believe it? The Dodgers win it 4-3. Michael Taylor, who struck out 5 times tonight, has the error that kills Washington. Well, as he said, it can be exhilarating, it can be thrilling, it can be exciting, and it can be humbling. And Taylor walking off the field, nobody within 50 feet of him. Take another look. It was a slider down. Puig got it by, and then Taylor overran the ball, and that turned out to be the ball game. The wild horse had a chance to run, and run he did. First, he was happy over the base hit. Then he saw the ball get by Taylor, and then the wild horse just kept on going. And once he was hitting third, there was no way to stop him, and the Dodgers somehow win it 4-3. They've won 6 in a row. They remain 5.5 behind the Giants, and they take this victory on the road, going to Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Wow, what a finish. Well, hope you had a good time. It was a delight being with you. Talk to you next time. Until then, we wish you all a very pleasant good evening, everybody.